You're listening to the Heart Lessons podcast with me, Sarah Rieke. Real women, real stories, real faith. Hi everyone, thank you so much for tuning in to the Heart Lessons podcast today. I'm so excited for you to be here with me, and I'm really excited to introduce you to my guest for the day. It is my sister-in-law, Lauren, and I'm very, very thankful that I not only have a sister-in-law, but also a friend, and she is a great influence in my life and somebody that I can always go to help speak truth to my heart and to help ground my thinking and to help sort of put me back on track if I feel like I'm, kind of lost in my own thoughts. So I really appreciate her influence in my life and the fact that she's not only family but also a friend. And today, Lauren is going to share with you about some hard things that she had to go through, some hard times she had to go through, and actually how music helped her through those times and how the Lord spoke heart lessons to her through music, through songs, and through certain song lyrics. And so she's going to share those with us today. And she has a beautiful singing voice. I know you're going to be blessed. And I just can't wait for you to hear what she has to share. So here is my conversation with Lauren. Lauren, thank you so much for coming to talk with me today.
Hey, thanks for having me.
I'm excited to hear what you have to say. And I know you guys listening can't see, but Lauren has an adorable little belly on her. We have...
Maybe not so little anymore.
Are you at 32 weeks now?
33 today. Yay.
33. So we have 7 weeks before baby Reagan comes.
Yeah, more than like.
Yeah, very cool. And everything's going well.
He's really getting big, and he likes to stick his rear into the rib cage, which is super fun. And getting out of bed is like kind of being a turtle. It's awesome.
You have to get your upper body momentum. You're like 1, 2, 3.
Basically. Jen's pretty much really annoyed with me at this point because my pillow is always smacking him when I'm flipping around in bed at nighttime. He's like, yep, I didn't sleep good again. I'm like, yes.
You have to have all the support. You have to have the one between the legs, the one under the belly.
There's pillows everywhere.
It's crucial.
We probably need a king size bed at this point, just for the sake of this stomach that's in the way, but it's fine.
Good though. It's very, very good.
It is.
So it's second baby, second son.
Yeah, I'm surrounded.
You're outnumbered.
Totally outnumbered. But it's good because I just tell everybody I get to be the princess of the house, which is pretty pleasant, and it's good. I never thought I'd have boys, and here I am playing with motorcycles and I don't even know. We haven't gotten to sword fighting and stuff yet, but
it'll come.
I do have a nephew that is very familiar with the
Micah.
Legos and the sword fighting and all of the jazz.
He'll show Eli before long.
He's showing Eli everything, and Eli loves him so much.
They already video game together.
Yeah. Oh my. I feel like there are a lot of fights to occur because of, no, that's not how you do it. Don't blow that up.
That's funny.
That would be good.
Okay, well, you're here today to share your heart. You have a love of music, which is... I have to say, I love music, but I don't possess the skill that you do. So that's the thing. I'm like
skill is relative, right?
I don't think American Idol's really a thing anymore, but I'm like the person that gets there and they sing and Simon's like, you should never show your face in public again.
Just go home.
Yeah.
No.
That's me. No.
You're not.
Not to that extent, but
no.
So I always appreciate someone with a gift like you have, so... Did you always love music, or how did you sing as a kid?
I feel like it's part of my soul. I think some of my best memories are I know I used to sing in the car all the time, and my parents basically taught me harmony through bands I know it's gonna sound ridiculous. It's not Christian bands at all, but Simon and Garfunkel and Supertramp and some of these other bands that just had such awesome harmony. And I remember just trying to mimic it, and I love it so much. And so many of my I don't know, just life events have revolved around music in some respect, which is funny. That's why it's just part of me. I don't know. There's some people I've met in life that are yeah, music. Not really. I'm that's shocking to me because it's so
ingrained,
big for me. But I get it. Anyway, but yeah. it's always been a big part, especially when it comes to like worship and connecting with God in the spiritual realm. Like music's been really huge for me. I feel like it's the main component to my like service towards God. And it's not even service, maybe that's a poor way to say it. It's just like my connection. I feel like it's a very easy, very freeing, refreshing part of my relationship with God. And I don't know how else to explain it. I just think it's really important. And anytime that's been missing in my life, I've felt like spiritually drained, which is kind of, I don't know, I guess that's huge. I just have realized how big music has been, like worship music, praise music, and even just random stuff occasionally. There's a band called Sleeping at Last, and I don't think it's a guy, but I don't think he's like particularly like a Christian artist, but he has some really beautiful music that, I don't know, it just has this way of speaking to me, even if it's not like directly God related. It has so many undertones. It just feels so beautiful, and it speaks to like, he has a song called Sun that I remember I would walk around the neighborhood with Eli when I was pregnant with Eli.
Okay.
And after, when I was trying to get used to having a new human, and I would just sing and like listen to this song as loud as I could on my phone. And it was just, it's called Sun, and it was so beautiful. It just speaks to basically like saying that we're the apple of God's eye, and that like life is beautiful, you know, from birth to death. And anyway, like it's not a praise song, but it was just so lovely. It's like the best song to be listening to when you're walking around and the sun's beating down on your face in the morning, and you're like, okay, like I could live here. I could live in this moment. It was very cool.
So is it sun like the sun, or like a sun like your...
Like sun, the sunshine sun.
Okay.
Anyway, but it's good. I highly recommend it. But anyway,
cool.
Yeah.
So, music is a big part of your life in any time, but also probably especially in difficult times.
Definitely.
Music has helped you. So, do you have some songs and some moments that you recall for sure that are like, that brought me through?
Yeah. There have been a lot of, I mean, I can't say I've had like this ridiculously traumatic life, but there have definitely been moments, like all of us, that I've really needed to cling to something, and music again has been one of those like ways for me to refresh and escape emotion, maybe, in a sense. When I was trying to prepare for like thinking about my top songs, first of all, it's like super hard to think about because there's so many awesome things that bring back memories or like such different feelings. Like just listen to the radio and I'm like, wow, I can remember where I was and what I was doing, and it was the summer of this, and it's cool. But I don't know, there's definitely some hard times. So I was trying to like think in general. I think any transitional time for somebody's teenage years, it's terrifying, and you're learning how to quote unquote adult.
Yeah,
and
right.
It's super fun. Plus, in my life, I ended up with quite a bit of home drama and trauma, and most of which was very, very emotional and difficult, especially for me when I was trying to figure out my identity and trying to figure out what I wanted to do with my life, and still in a time, well, actually, I was very much on fire, like on fire for God. I wanted to be in worship team, and I felt very close to Him, which was really good. But there was, I just remember, like, that was a really hard time of confusion and not knowing which way is up. And I remember specifically having these, like, conversations with my worship leader at church when they saw what I was going through, just to be like, you know, praise is something that you just do despite the hard times. And like not out of obligation, but ultimately because you can sing to God your heart, period.
Mm-hmm.
You can grieve that way. You can praise that way. You can focus on something bigger than you.
Mm-hmm.
You can focus on something bigger than the problem that you're in the middle of. And suddenly those valleys maybe don't seem quite as deep because you realize how magnificent and deserving God is of like adoration. And anyway, I thought that was very striking. Somebody put it much more eloquently than I just did.
No,
I'm
that
sure.
was perfect. That was great.
But it always stuck with me that, like, as much as I don't want to, a lot of times when I'm feeling a little resentful or angry or just grieving something, I don't really necessarily want to turn around and be like, God, I just love you so much.
Yeah.
But I do. My heart does love God so much, and I know where I want to be, and so focusing on where I want to be is much better than focusing on where I don't want to be, which is like stuck in this like horrible valley and feeling like I can't get out. So all that to say, there was this one song that particularly stuck out to me. I honestly don't know who sang it ever. I don't know if it's like an old hymn particularly, but it's called I Exalt Thee. It's super simple. It's just I exalt thee, I exalt thee, I exalt thee, like over and over again. And it's just so simplistic and it's so beautiful that it was like life-changing song just because it was like in those moments. I'm not saying that this doesn't hurt. I'm not saying that this isn't horrible. I'm not negating any of the stuff I'm going through. I'm just saying I'm gonna praise you. I love you. And anyway, I sang that in youth group, and every time I hear that song to this day, like, which is so random because people don't sing that song a lot. I think I've heard it.
I've heard it as well
since high school.
Yeah.
But it's it's just wow. Like, I don't know why something so simple can be so poignant, but it was, and it is still to this day. And every time it comes on, it's like my heart. I feel like it's like a direct message from God. He's just saying like this is for you. Like every time. I don't know. It's weird. But anyway, so there's that one.
Will you sing it?
I can.
I know it's like just a few simple.
Yeah, it's just I exalt thee. I exalt thee, I exalt thee, O Lord. And you just repeat it over and over again. So super simple, and I just love it.
When you hear that, it brings you back to that time when like God met you there.
Yeah.
That's what's so beautiful about, I think, the songs. It's like, like you said, it just brings you right back to where you were, where your heart was, and how the Lord like just lifted you out of it. So
completely. That's a good way.
Awesome.
Yeah, where He meets you. Definitely. Yeah. And then, I don't know. Later that year, I had probably the most traumatic experience of my life. And I was taken away from pretty much everybody that I loved, and like my church. All my stability was gone in like a matter of days.
And you're also a teenager?
Yeah, I was a teenager. I was 17 going on 18, so very close to having freedom, but not there yet. And just, it was very distressing. And I was also surrounded by people that were truly emotionally abusive, and I didn't realize it at the time, but spiritually abusive. I was around people that were not Christians and really put me down for having faith, and really sent me a lot of mixed messages about that too. And so I struggle with baggage from that, which I will come to later with more music, of course. But that summer, a song by Natalie Grant called Held, which really
I love.
It's beautiful, isn't it?
Yes.
I mean, I'm sure it speaks to you on a different level too.
But it's great.
It's a beautiful song, and it's it didn't like directly relate to my situation, but in the same sense, like a lot of the words of that song were just incredible. And one of my favorite lines, I guess I'll just sing it for you.
Yeah, please.
But it goes, this is what it means to be held, how it feels when the sacred is torn from your life and you survive. This is what it is to be loved and to know that the promise was when everything fell, we'd be held. So that's just like the little verse there, but it's so beautiful, and particularly when it just talks about being held, like the name in and of itself, it speaks to anybody.
Yeah. I know, it's really emotional. It's
such
a great song.
beautiful song.
Yeah.
But like, I guess when I realized when I was going through these songs, the concept of being held is like so massive, like so poignant, because what do you want when you're like struggling so bad? You want to be comforted. You want somebody to wrap you up in ginormous arms and make you feel like everything is minor and everything is okay and God is so much bigger, and that you have like a loving father. Like there's something very big about that too, that you have like a father figure that's just so grand. And again, it doesn't negate all the stuff that you go through, but I thought that was really big. And I know that in that time of my life, I was basically pleading with God, like very truly, I cannot handle this. Like, I cannot handle this, God. And I would rather die right now than deal with this. And I'm not like a suicidal person, and I know people legitimately struggle with thoughts like that. But God really, really met me. And the only escape I had, like emotionally, at that point in my life was to listen to my iPod and like take a walk away from the people and the things that I was surrounded by. And I just remember sitting on the swing set and just listening to that song like on repeat for like an entire summer. And it was just very meaningful. And again, every time I hear that song, it makes me cry every time I hear that song, because it's just so, I know how dark that place was, and I also know, again, like you said earlier, God met me there, and he really did orchestrate some incredible things to get me out of the situation that I was in. And that couldn't have been anything but God, honestly. So
This just makes me think of, like, you know, when the Israelites were going through the desert and they would, like, build monuments every time the Lord did something, like, great for them that they could remember. And that just makes me, these are, like, your monuments. Like, the Lord, like,
here it is.
Yeah.
That's good. That's so awesome. So I chose 5 songs, so hopefully this isn't going to be, like, the never-ending session.
Perfect.
But this one's pretty minor in a sense, but just becoming an adult after being a teenager and trying to sift through the baggage that I carried from that summer, and then going to college the next year, leaving my my loving home and family at that point, and moving away. I went to a Christian school. I went to Liberty, and I don't know why it was just a real struggle. Change and I don't get along. We really don't.
I think that's for all of us.
So
we want things to be the same.
Kind of. And I'm like, what is this? Adulting is very hard. And so I remember hearing the Revelation song. The Liberty Worship Band did the Revelation song. And I'm sure it's like so... there's tons of people who I'm sure love that song. But again, every time that song... I hear in worships or something, I'm like, I just have to like stop and bask in it, because I think it's just so...
It's a big song. It's like an anthem almost.
Right.
It feels like that?
Yeah. It's powerful. It's got a sweet element, but I love the fact that it just focuses on God's grandness and greatness and how in awe of him we should be. And it made me in that time just realize, like, okay, you got all these problems, you got all these worries, you have all these things that you're not sure about, and in a time of so many unknowns, like, what do I actually know about God? And so, basically, that's like the best song ever. I will just put it out there. But basically, I think Liberty did one. I have on a Spotify playlist, and Phillips Craig and Ding did a really great version as well. And Carrie Job, who has like this awesome voice. Yeah. And like, okay, when a girl sings it, I'm always like, she's speaking to me. Like, she's speaking to me. That's my heart that's talking right there. So there's something about that that's kind of cool. But if you don't know how it goes, I'll just sing it again for you.
No, that's what I'm...
But the verse
is...
Holy, holy, holy is the Lord God Almighty, who was and is to come. With all creation I sing praise to the King of Kings. You are my everything, and I will adore you. This is my favorite part. Filled with wonder, awestruck wonder, at the mention of your name. Jesus, your name is power, breath and living water, such a marvelous mystery. So yeah, I love the chorus, but I also love that verse of filled with wonder because, again, it reminds me that God is so much bigger. And how amazing and incredible it is to serve such a grand, amazing God, and just to feel good about being small for once. Like, I don't know, I think there's comfort in feeling tiny in a sense. Like when you're already out of control or feel like you're losing control, it's like, okay, cool.
Yeah.
Here,
Right.
you got it. Like it's all yours anyway.
I'm not in charge anyway.
Yeah. So I love that. And well, this will be familiar to you, obviously, and you have a different story when it comes to loss. But 2012 was a really hard year for the whole family. And we experienced a very odd time. We weren't expecting to get pregnant. We did get pregnant. I knew that we were pregnant, but I didn't really know what to do about it because it was very uncertain and very unexpected. And then we lost that baby, and then like directly after that, y'all announced that you were gonna have a baby, and then everything happened with Evie, and it was such a dark time. There was a lot of beautiful things that came out of it, of course, but
bottom line, it
was a very dark time, a very dark, very hard year, and a lot of mixed emotion on my part. And I think the song "Not for a Moment" by Meredith Andrews was an anthem, another like anthem, that I thought was beautiful, and I know that was a meaningful song to you.
I remember the time. Yeah, it was the day after Evie's memorial service, and I was like listening to that song. I was cleaning my bathroom, just thinking like what now, God? Like, it just felt so. Yeah, it just helped me. I guess in the moment when I felt so lost, it helped me remember that the Lord was there with me, and he wasn't leaving. He wasn't going to forsake me, even though it maybe felt that way.
Yeah. Definitely.
Was that your similar? Yeah, you're just.
Yeah. This whole song, the entire song, like, would just hit so close to home. Like, there wasn't a part of that song that didn't feel completely and totally true and valid and useful, and it was just so perfect for that whole situation. And I think I'm not gonna sing that one, but there's just a part in there that basically is talking about like when God whispers to you, like essentially, despite strong emotions, like it's important that we hear those little whispers and like take that into account. And I love that. Voice. Yeah, I love that. that imagery, I guess. And I think that's what I love most about that song is it really just speaks to, like, I don't know, it puts words in my mouth when I don't have any words.
Yeah.
I love that.
Is there a line that like stands out to you that you? I mean, the whole song is awesome.
Like, seriously,
Yeah.
I think the entire song.
Yeah,
Like, I couldn't.
okay.
I've been writing like little blurbs for these ones, but I don't have one for that one because, like, seriously, the whole song. So if you're listening, you just have to go and listen to that whole song.
Yeah, I'll make sure I'll have a link.
Okay.
I'll have a link up on the
because it's
podcast
beautiful.
page.
It's truly beautiful, and I feel like it speaks volumes for the heart when you don't have the words to say. And then, like, a super awesome blessing time of my life, but also probably another most challenging time ever is having a new human. Like,
Yeah.
holy cow! How?
Yes.
How? I don't know. And so, yeah, I definitely am not abnormal in the sense that you have a baby, your life completely changes. You basically don't sleep for, like, I don't know, 9 months of that new human's life, and you feel a little crazy, and then your hormones are also at work, like on hyperdrive. And I know I was never diagnosed with like postpartum depression per se, but I know that I struggled with anxiety like very, very badly. I felt like almost paranoid, and I would be worrying about, well, to be fair, my husband would also just join the police department.
Yeah.
So, you know,
A bit of anxiety.
there's a lot of anxiety happening
Yes.
with new life changes. So anxiety was like the big thing, and the unknowns were just so huge. I had no idea what to expect. I felt like a failure pretty much 24/7. You know, you're like a milk machine, and then you're also like not capable of really, I mean, you tend to this baby 24/7, but you can only do so much when they cry or whatever. It's just new. And and the song Oceans, Where Feet May Fall by Hillsong, I think was popular on the radio like around that time. And I loved that entire song as well. But there's a particular part there that said, I'll just sing that too. It says, I will call upon your name and keep my eyes above the waves. My soul will rest in your embrace, for I am yours and you are mine. I love that line because, again, it's such a nice imagery of when you are struggling so hard and you feel like you're fighting and you're failing and you can barely keep your head above water. God meets you there and you keep your eyes where they should be, which is above those waves.
Yeah.
Which is really hard to do. But basically, you can rest there. You can just let God let you float, let's say. You know, he may not take you out of those waters, but if you keep your head above water and really, like, relax in him, it really helped me in the anxiety department. So I listened to that a lot.
Yeah.
A lot of nights, too. It was kind of it's kind of a sweet,
Yeah.
it does have some
Like a
build too,
lullaby-ish.
but it is a little
Yeah.
softer, and I listened to that a lot when I was struggling at nighttime, like nursing or something like that. And there's some other songs in other playlists that I'd listened to as well, which was really beneficial when I was feeling
like you were losing your mind.
like I was losing my mind, and I pretty much was losing my mind. So my husband can definitely attest to that. So
I think it happens to all of us with that first baby.
it's intense.
Yeah.
It's intense. It's so good. It's so good. And I've told my friends this that have recently had babies. I'm like, it's gonna be awesome, but also don't feel bad when you feel like you're losing your mind,
Yeah.
because it's not abnormal.
Yeah.
Like, that's totally normal.
Yeah, just to know that you're not alone in that. That's
right.
Good. That's
okay, it will pass eventually too.
Yeah.
Your mind will come back. Maybe not completely. Just saying. Just saying, but it will come back. But yeah, so and doing my little investigation here of like my favorite songs, I think I realized that all of these songs are really speak to that's like my balancing system.
Okay.
Music, like these songs and worship and praise in general is like my balance. When my emotions are like super high and I don't know whether I'm being overly emotional, or I don't know how to grieve, or I don't know what I should be thinking. And sometimes like I don't really know what's right or wrong. It's just a feeling. It's not necessarily sinful. It's not necessarily not. It's just you have to grieve. You have to feel. You're allowed to feel bad. Like, but it helps me keep in balance. Just the fact that I can rest. What God's character is, and then like that person told me in high school, which I didn't know would be so poignant. Just that you praise when you don't know what else to do. You focus on how big God is, and it's your proclamation of faith despite how you feel. And I think a lot of people's faith that's probably poor to say. I think some people's faith can be very dependent on emotion and like how they feel that day. But that's not what faith is. Faith is, loving God despite the hardship, or, knowing that it will be okay even when it doesn't feel okay. So that's what music is to me. It's that check and balance.
Yeah, that's great.
And it's very personal. It can be very personal. I love that music can do that. And like when you stand in church and you have all these people around you that are praising, like even if you're not singing, just to like stop and listen, I think there's something almost magical about it. It's like so incredible.
Yeah, I get that feeling too. And I mean, I love music. I don't have like the gift like you do, but music does, speak to me as well. And sometimes I do the same thing in church, and I just think like, is this what heaven is going to be like? Right. Like these, the verse is about, all the angels singing, holy, holy is the Lord God Almighty. Right. And you just think like, is it, is it going to sound like this? Or, just
right.
Feels big. It feels big.
Very. It's very cool. It's a very cool place to be. And I feel like it's just so incredible that God meets you there. And just to feel that presence is pretty incredible. I don't know. Music has never let me down in that sense.
Yeah.
It's such a deep connection. And I'm sure everybody has different elements. I'm not obviously, an excellent speaker, and I'm not, particularly great at crafting or anything like that, but music is, a thing that I like.
And it's a thing that not everybody has. It's
a thing. But I don't care. If I couldn't carry a tune in a bucket, like, I would not care. I would be that person on American Idol being like, this is what's up. I'm going to praise God because I really like to, and y'all are just going to have to put your earplugs in.
I feel like I sound really good in my shower usually.
Exactly. So that's fine. But I don't know.
That's so good. Thank you so much for sharing. And I appreciate you coming and sharing your heart and for singing for us.
Singing awkwardly.
No,
really
it's
sorry,
beautiful.
but it's fine.
No, it was perfect. I was getting emotional myself. It was great. Thank you for pointing out that music can help us feel our place in God's world.
Yeah.
That's how. Yeah. So thank you so much.
Thanks for having me.
I don't know about you, but I absolutely loved that picture of God being so much bigger than our problems and us being able to, even when our hearts don't feel like it, being able to get lost in worship and exalt a God that is so much bigger than us and so powerful and so able to carry us through any hard thing that we're going through. What a powerful image. Lauren, thank you very much for that reminder of what worship can be, and that we can turn our hearts towards worship to the Lord even when we don't feel like it. So thank you for doing that for us. And thank you so much to you for listening today. And I hope you came away with some songs that can help you. And maybe some of the ones that Lauren shared will become your favorites. Or, maybe you'll just be inspired to find some of your own, some of your own new favorites. And don't forget that you can subscribe to Heart Lessons on iTunes so you won't miss any episodes. And you'll have an opportunity, if you go to YouTube, you'll be able to listen to the podcast via YouTube. If you visit my blog, www.lifeandgrace.com, you can listen there as well. And I will also have a page up for today's podcast with links to the songs and some song lyrics. And so you'll be able to, if you're interested, you'll be able to find out a little bit more about the songs that Lauren shared. So thank you to you all for listening and for supporting Heart Lessons. And my prayer is that you'll be encouraged today and that you'll come back next week and we can be encouraged again as well. So thank you for tuning in. I hope you guys have a great week, and I will talk to you later.